Are you struggling to find your first customers with your digital marketing business? Well, most people at your stage are, so I'm going to share with you 4 strategies that will show you exactly what my agency did to find its first few clients. Now, this will be a no-nonsense video from a successful digital marketing agency that is still using these techniques to land new clients every single week. Everyone seems to be starting a digital marketing agency nowadays, and the reason for this is because businesses will pay you very good money if, and it's a big if, that you can make them a great deal more money than they're paying you.
Here comes the money.
It's not uncommon for agencies to charge a single customer anywhere from the lower end of £500 a month right up to £10,000 plus per month. So whether you're starting an agency to make a little bit of extra money on the side, or you really want to push on and make your millions, you need to start somewhere. And if you think you're just going to jump straight out there and land a 10 grand a month client straight away, then you're very deluded.
I'm just confident. I've always been a delusional optimist my whole life.
So I'm Jamie Stenton and I run Lilac James. We're a digital marketing agency that specialises in SEO, Facebook ads and Google ads, and we have around £500,000 a year turnover. We employ 6 people and we're currently growing at around 40% per year. And for the past few years, I've been coaching startup businesses exactly how to find their first few clients. Now, these strategies that I'll take you through are some of what we used really successfully to get our agency off the ground, and some of them we're still using today. Many are free, and some you may need to spend a little bit of money to get them going. One of the first things you can do to get new business is simply to reach out to friends and family who operate businesses and ask them if you can run your service for them. Now, because these people already know you, they should have built trust and confidence in you, which will make the process much easier. Simply explain to them that you're starting a digital marketing agency and that you think that you can really help their business, and that you would be very grateful if at the end of your work they could provide you a review and a case study. As for what you charge, now this may go against popular advice, but I'd offer to either do this for free or have a performance-related payment. So for example, if you're working on a performance-based payment, if they were making £100 profit per sale, you could have an arrangement where you receive £20 per sale that is achieved as a direct result of your marketing. These conversations will be much easier if you're niching into a specific service such as Google Ads, Facebook ads or SEO, which I teach on this channel, so make sure you subscribe. And if you're just asking, can I do your marketing please? It's far too broad a situation. So instead, maybe approach the conversation like this and say, hey Jimmy, how's business? I can see you're not running any Facebook ads and you're probably missing a big trick there. Now I've checked some of your competitors and I can see that they're all advertising on the platform, and they have been for a while, so it must be working out for them. Now I've started a digital marketing agency, it's called Lilac James, and we've done a ton of Facebook advertising. I'd happily set you up something free of charge. That way it's low risk for you, and for me, I get the experience and credibility of working with a great company like yours. How does that sound? Now this way, the conversation is framed in a positive win-win manner. Now you're not begging for your first client
I want some more.
in an Oliver Twist style. Business owners think of financial decisions based on a return on investment and risk, and hiring you is a risk for them because even if it's free, because you could damage their brand and they'll need to spend money on their advertising spend. So during your conversation, think of ways that you can de-risk this for them. Now you can assure them that you follow all their brand guidelines and that nothing will be published without full authorization of the business before it goes live. Now you have to frame this conversation not like they're doing you a favor, but that you're arranging a mutually beneficial business arrangement. So that's the first strategy, approaching friends and family who run businesses and asking them if you can deliver your service on their behalf. Like I said, there's going to be some inbuilt risk for them, so you do have to frame it in the correct manner, not like they're doing you a favor, like you're having a win-win situation. And after you've delivered for them, either on a free or a performance-related basis, you can start then having conversations about going into monthly retainer contracts. You can then capture case studies and testimonials. You can produce content around the work that you did for them, and you can use that then to build a snowball effect and approach other customers with your case studies to really get going. So much of that advice around how to frame the conversation is relevant in the next strategies that I'm going to cover. And first up, we've got networking. Now, when my agency was first set up, this is how we found all of our initial business. We joined breakfast networking groups, evening networking groups, attended educational networking sessions where a guest speaker taught you something business related. Now, when selecting selecting your networking event, make sure it's one where your target market should be present. We once invested a bunch of time at a networking group and we achieved nothing from it, as everyone in attendance was a startup. Now, the difficulty with startups is that even if you're offering the service for free, they still might struggle to find the funds for advertising spend, and they won't have other sales collateral like brochures, websites, sales teams, etc. to really help your marketing work. Now, whilst you're at these events, you've got to mingle and you've got to lead with value. Don't overly focus on yourself. If someone asks what you do, tell them in a single sentence, such as, I used to work in a marketing team, but I've just set up my own digital marketing agency. We run Facebook ads and we generate revenue for home improvement businesses. Then focus on them. Ask them questions about their business. So how do you generate leads? Have you ever run Facebook ads? Did you ever hire an agency and how did you find them? Start leading with that value. By asking questions, you'll quickly find out if they're the right fit for you, and if they're not, don't get stuck talking to them and wasting all your time. Make your excuses and move on. Final two strategies are kind of linked, and I'll summarize them as direct outreach, and we'll split this into cold calling and direct mail. The key to both is research. Now, I get really terrible outreach, both by cold call and email every single day. People try to tell me that my SEO is poor, despite the fact they're on page 1 right across the region and our website is highly optimized. It's literally what we do, but I get some guy from a Gmail email address insulting me, telling me it's poor because he hasn't done his research. So these emails get deleted. Don't be that guy. These people just aren't doing their research and they're just spamming business owners hoping they get lucky. And you need to be more targeted than that and better prepared. Now, your research firstly needs to focus on who you write to or who you call. And LinkedIn is a great tool for this, as people will generally list themselves as director, owner, or marketing manager at relevant companies. First thing I would do is to pick a niche and target several businesses within that niche that you can genuinely help with your services. So for example, if you're offering SEO services, you can really help local service-based businesses. They all need SEO. So perhaps reach out to all the landscaping businesses in your area and then check the SEO performance of these businesses and make sure that your cold call, your outreach letter mentions that your research. And you could mention what positions they're missing out on, the keyword demand in their area, or the website traffic being achieved by their competitors, because everybody wants to know how their competitors are doing it. When you start talking to people about their competitors, about how their competitors are outperforming them, it generally raises a nerve. Then you can create scarcity and you can explain that you have a strict non-competition policy in my business and I can't optimize 2 businesses for the same keywords. I've written to 10 companies in this area, but I can only take one of them on. You need to get your offer in there, and what I would suggest for cold outreach is a no-win, no-fee arrangement. Again, you're de-risking things, so they will have to pay you, for example, 50% upfront, then upon completion of your project, if it hasn't worked out for them, then you give the 50% back, and if it has, they pay you the other 50%. But it's going to be important when you go into negotiations later that you define exactly what good performance and what bad performance looks like, so that you can both be really, really clear about whether the terms of that money back guarantee have been met. Here is a letter that I sent out recently to sports manufacturers. Now, yours will need to be a little different, as you won't yet have the case studies and the results to lean on, but you'll get the idea. Finally, your letter or call needs to have a next step. Within your letter, you want to ask them to email you or call you or book into your diary. If you're calling them, you want to secure a next meeting to conduct a full review or strategy proposal where you can outline to them even more in depth exactly what you're going to do for them. If you've written to companies, make sure that you follow up with a phone call. And if you call companies, make sure you follow up with a letter if you don't get the answer that you want. Couple of big tips for letter outreach. Address them to the director or the business owner and write private and confidential on them. This ensures they don't get intercepted by the PA or the secretary. And send something in the letter that will hang around in the office. In the past, we've sent branded chocolates, brochures, coffee, and branded pens. My personal favorite was the branded pens, as pens, they hang around in the office, they get used every day, and they look at your brand every single day, so they're fantastic for brand recognition. So those are my main recommendations, but hang around for another minute as I've got a few more tips for you, and if you follow those strategies, you will land your first client, I guarantee you. Once you have your first client, you have to over-deliver. The biggest reason agencies fail is number one, they don't get results, and number two, they fail to communicate with the client. If you don't communicate well with your client, they'll wonder why the hell they're paying you in the first place. And if they don't hear anything, they'll just assume that you're not doing anything on their account. If something goes well, let them know. Sing your results from the rooftops. And simply rinse and repeat this process. Pick other niches, write more letters. The more people you write to, the more cold calls and the more conversations you have, the better your letters will become over time. The better your sales technique will become on the phone. The more clients that you start to generate, the more case studies, the more testimonials that you will start to achieve, the more credibility you will gain, the easier all of this stuff becomes. But the real challenge is just securing that first client. So like I said, number one, reach out to friends and family, to business owners, see if you can do a bit of work either free or on a performance-related basis. Number two, networking. You've got to get out there. People can't do business with you if they don't know who you are. So when you're at those networking events, speak to relevant people, ask relevant questions, and just see if you can build those conversations in towards business meetings. Now you're going to have something that you can prompt them with, something that you can push them to do, like having an initial introductory meeting. And in those introductory meetings, you can do a full strategy proposal. And then with your direct mail and your cold calls, you're going to have to be brave and send these out. It's going to have to look professional on headed paper. If you're doing cold email outreach, you don't want it coming from a Gmail account or an Outlook account or anything like that. It has to be at yourbusinessname.com. Anything that I see cold outreach coming to me from email addresses that aren't from a business email address, they're instantly deleted because they instantly lose credibility for me. So I really hope that helps. There's 4 simple strategies that you can use there, and if you are consistent with them, you will land your first digital marketing client. I absolutely assure you. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We're not only going to teach you how you can get clients, but you can learn all about Facebook ads, SEO, and Google ads right here from an agency that's in the trenches every day. See you next time.